Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll be doing a sewing essentials. Basically this video I'm going to be showing you all some items that I feel like are necessary and are a necessity when it comes to sewing. So I feel like these items that I will be showing you all are very crucial when it comes to sewing. And so I have a lot of sewing supplies. Now there may be a whole bunch of other necessities and supplies that come along when it comes to sewing, but some of these items that I'm going to be sharing with you are what I feel like are necessary when it comes to that. I also want to mention that I will be doing some sewing videos really soon. I have noticed that some of my subscribers really like the DIYs that I come up with, and some of you all that subscribe to me have subscribed to me because of my DIYs. And so without further ado, let's just get right into the video. So the first necessity that you need when it comes to sewing is some scissors. Now I have like 3 or 4 pair of scissors. So I have this pair of scissors that is in a sewing kit I also got a pair of scissors that look like this. I also have 2 pair of scissors in this other sewing kit that I have. So I have quite a few pair of scissors, and you want to use scissors that are specifically for sewing. You don't want to use craft scissors. They have to be or need to be specifically for cutting fabric. The second necessity I would say is some hand sewing needles. So these are some hand sewing needles. Hand sewing needles come in great handy. For example, let's say I'm making a pillow. You might need to close the opening up with a hand sewing needle. You can make a pillow from a sewing machine, but when it comes to closing the small opening that you need in order to put the filling in, then you will want some hand sewing needles. You will want to do that by hand, but of course you can sew a whole entire pillow by hand as well. The next necessity that I feel like is obviously something that you really need in order to sew, or you're not going to get anywhere, is some thread. Now I have a lot of thread here as well. I have this whole thing of thread in here. I have some bigger threads right here. The next necessity is some straight pins. And right here I have a whole container of straight pins. You would need straight pins for when it comes to pinning like your fabric in place. The next item that you would need is a pin cushion, and I actually have one right here. This is a pin cushion. I have the tomato pin cushion. They come in a variety of different sizes. They don't just have the tomato ones. They have like all kinds of different ones, shapes, items. They also have the kind that you wear around your wrist, which is the ones that I would really like. The next item is a sewing machine. The sewing machine that I have is a Brother CE1100 PRW. I think that's the name. It's the Project Runway Limited Edition. And I actually have 2 sewing machines. I have one that's here with me at school, and then I have one at home. The one at home is one that my grandmother gave to me, so it's kind of an older one, and I actually want to like get that taken to a shop to like get fixed up and everything like that. It looks like this. On here you will be able to like put like what stitch you want to use and like change the tension and all of that stuff as well. And then right here you can see all of the stitches that you can use. The next necessity that you would need is an iron and ironing board. You would need these in order to obviously like iron your fabrics in place so that they won't be wrinkled. Or let's say you have some interfacing, maybe you want to iron the interfacing onto your fabric and stuff like that. It just makes the cutting process as well as the sewing process a lot easier. The next necessity that I am really glad I do have is a rotary cutter, and it's this right here. This is a rotary cutter, and as you can see, when you pull this down you get access to the blade. It's way easier than using scissors. You get sharper cuts as well. The next thing is a cutting mat or a ruler. I don't have an acrylic ruler, which I need to get one. And if you don't know what acrylic ruler is, but it's basically a clear see-through ruler that you would need as well for cutting your fabric. That way you can get the right measurement. But I also have a cutting mat to help you measure out your fabric as well. And this has two sides as well. Like, this is the light side, this is the dark side. The next item that you would need is a seam ripper. Now I'm going to show you what a seam ripper is. This is a seam ripper right here. And I'm going to take it out, and this is how it looks. If you're sewing something on a sewing machine and you accidentally mess up, you can just take this and just go straight through the threads and it's gonna come right out. The next item that you will need is a measuring tape. You will need this when it comes to measuring your body. You want to make sure that you make clothing or whatever it is the correct size. You don't want it to be too big. You don't want it to be too small. So I have this tape measure right here. I just have a blue one. I also have a white one. The next thing that you would need are sewing patterns, especially if you're a beginner. I think it's way much easier to use some patterns, especially if you're not used to like free flowing and still need help with stuff. I'm so glad that I learned how to use a pattern. It's way much easier than I thought it was. So I have like a few patterns and stuff right here, and they're pretty easy patterns as well, as you can see. But patterns can be a breeze because everything is already measured out. All you have to do is go by your size, and they do have the sizes on the front. Like if you're at the store, like the sizes are already on the front. All you have to do is just cut out your size, and everything is already measured for you. All you have to do is just get the correct notions, the correct type of fabric that the pattern is asking for, and you're good to go. The next necessity is a sewing kit. I have this sewing kit right here that pretty much have everything. You have the scissors, the pin cushion. You also have a thimble. If you don't know what a thimble is, it is usually worn on a dominant hand on the middle finger, and it helps with pushing pins and the fabric, usually worn when you are hand sewing. You also, have your seam ripper. You have a tracing pencil, which I also feel is a necessity. You have some hand sewing needles, some tracing paper. You have a seam gauge. If you don't know what a seam gauge is, it's basically to help you measure out your hems and stuff when you are hemming items. You also have a tracing wheel, and if you don't know what a tracing wheel is, it is basically to help you just to transfer marks. That's pretty much it. Then I also have this travel size sewing kit that you can get from the dollar store, and this has a thimble as well, some thread, a small pair of scissors, has the safety pins, straight pins, and the buttons. This little kit also has a needle threader, and if you don't know what a needle threader is, it's basically to help you put the thread through the eye of the needle. This is a needle threader right here. This is how it looks. And then my other sewing kit, which I have, looks like this. Comes in this little pouch, and it pretty much has the same exact stuff in there. This one has two needle threaders, one that looks like this, and then the other one looks like the one that I just showed you. The last and final item that you will obviously need in order to be successful when it comes to sewing or making anything in general is fabric. So I have a bunch of fabric that is in this tote, and I even have fabric that I still have not used, that I've probably had for over a year. Is these fabrics right here. I also have a bunch of scrap fabrics and stuff. I have a lot of fabric, you guys. Like, I have so much fabric and so many scrap pieces. I just don't really know what to do with it. So I will think of some ideas on what I can make with this stuff. That way I can like start making more fashion videos, more DIYs and stuff like that, because I see that you all really enjoy those type of videos, and it just makes me so happy when I see that you guys comment on my sewing videos telling me how helpful it is, especially my sewing tutorial on how to make a pair of shorts. That video has over 15,000 views, so I'm just really excited about that because it makes me know that people actually watch sewing tutorials and DIYs. I'm really happy about the positive comments that I have gotten on that video because I didn't really think that that video would get that many views. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give this a thumbs up. And yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully this video helps you out, and if you do like to sew or are new to sewing, that you go out and get some of these items. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.